welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you'll be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much. So guys, all of this, as you all know, something really happened at the Georgia school, and a lot of people have been leaving commentaries. A lot of updates have been coming up, and I was able to put up some of this update. It happens that there is the parent to the boy that actually did whatever he did has finally been arrested, and there are other updated details that you all need to know. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section and let's dive into it.
I got my wish. Within an hour of me posting my video yesterday calling for the arrest of Colin Gray here in connection with his son Colin Gray shooting up Appalachian High School in Winder, Georgia, and causing the death of 4 individuals, injuring 9 others, with at least 30 others suffering incidental wounds. Colin was arrested. And today, both of these pieces of shit were in a Georgia courtroom. I'm going to take the opportunity to correct some misinformation people are running with concerning Colt being charged as an adult. But before we get to that, let's look at Colin's appearance. Yeah, this is what it looks like. He's rocking back and forth in court today. And I was looking at some of the comments associated with this video, and the mental health defenses have already started. Colin is facing 2 counts of second-degree murder, 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. And the judge said he could be looking at a combined total of 180 years. In Colt's court appearance, this is what the judge told him.
Maximum penalty for felony murder. So for each count, the maximum penalty is that you could be punishable by death, by imprisonment for life, without parole, or by imprisonment for life, with the possibility of parole.
And while it is true the judge said that Colt would be treated as an adult in connection with the 4 felony murder charges and the 9 assault charges on the individuals that were wounded, he will not face the death penalty. The maximum penalties that Colt faces are life with or without parole. And for those who wondering how you can be tried as an adult but not face the consequences of the death penalty, while it is true under Georgia law, children as young as 13 can be tried as an adult, but the 2005 Supreme Court decision in Roper versus Simmons states that the 8th and 14th Amendments forbid the execution of offenders who were younger than the age of 18 when the crime occurred, and this was a 5-4 decision. So while Colt will be charged as an adult, he will still not be eligible for the death penalty. So I have tried to post this video multiple times on TikTok today, and I continue to get community guidelines violations. So I thought I would tell you where you can find this video. And for those of you all who do not know, this is Colin Gray. And this video is of him and his father on a hunting trip. A hunting trip that he took a year and a half before he shot up Appalachian High School in Winder, Georgia. And you may say, what's so spectacular about this 13-year-old at the time boy with his father hunting in Georgia? Well, this hunting trip took place at the same time that Colin Gray was making online threats in a Discord to shoot up a school. And this is the hunting trip that Colin Gray, or as I call him, Colin, referenced when investigators showed up to his house to tell him that his son had been involved in making online threats about shooting up a school. This is what he was referring to, that he took his first deer, and this was the greatest day ever. The day he also said there was nothing to worry about because his son did not have access to the weapons in his house. And what does Colin elect to do less than 8 months after investigators left his house telling him that his son had been online making threats to shoot up a school? Of course, he buys him an AR-15 styled weapon for Christmas. The same weapon that Colt used to shoot up his school, killing 4, injuring 9 directly, injuring 20 others indirectly, and leaving a whole school traumatized. And since I can't show that video here, if you would like to see it in its entirety, please go to my YouTube channel or my Instagram.
News everybody has been waiting for. Colin Gray's father has been arrested amid news of him gifting his son the gun used in the school shooting. And that quote, in coordination with the district attorney Brad Smith, the GBI has arrested Colin Gray, age 54. Now, Colin Gray is being charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Everybody, I know we thought that they was going to let this man slide. I am so happy they did not make him a fucking example like y'all did in Michigan. Let these parents know that you decide to put a gun in your child's hand and your child does something irresponsible, foolish, and dangerous, that y'all going to jail right along with them. Thank you for not letting this man slide. You put a gun in your child's hand after he had been investigated by the FBI for making threats about shooting up his school, and you thought that was the responsible thing to do. For any other parent that allows their children to carry around guns and thinks that's your Second Amendment right, you better fucking think twice, because if you raise your child the wrong way, your child has mental issues, he's going through depression or anything like that, and they decide to do something stupid, you're going to be responsible.
I'm an attorney, but not your attorney. Yesterday, 54-year-old Colin Gray was only the 3rd parent in American history to be charged with a mass shooting committed by his son. Earlier this year in April, James and Jennifer Crumbly were sentenced for the Oxford High School shooting, which was carried out by their son, Ethan Crumbly. In this case, Colin Gray has been charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. The 2 second-degree murder charges are in relation to 2 students that were killed at the school. Because the cruelty to children resulted in 2 deaths, those 2 deaths are charged as second-degree murder. We're already seeing similarities between the Grays and the Crumbleys. James Crumbly and Colin Gray both purchased the firearm for their sons as Christmas presents. Further, both parents were alerted to concerning behavior by their son prior to the shooting. Months before the Oxford High School shooting, school officials brought concerns about Ethan Crumbly to his parents. In this case, a little over a year before this school shooting, the FBI had been investigating Colin Gray in relation to threats he made against a middle school. The threats were made on a Discord server where Colt said that his account had been hacked months prior. No arrests were made, no charges were brought at the time due to inconsistent information, according to the FBI. Second-degree murder alone carries a potential penalty of 10 to 30 years in prison. If you want to hear more about the Crumbly case, feel free to go to my profile and look at my pinned videos about the matter, or also you can follow me to hear more about this case as it progresses.
So information about the school shooting yesterday in Georgia is still unfolding, but I wanted to talk to you all as a leader in education about some of the potential misses that the school and law enforcement made, and some of the questions that you can ask your child's school to make sure that they're prepared to keep your child safe in the event of an emergency like a school shooting. So it recently came out that the student, a 14-year-old who was responsible for the shooting, actually made threats online last year about potentially shooting up the school. Law enforcement met with him and questioned him. However, they did not get a psych evaluation. If a child has ideations of harming other people, you should take that child to get a psych evaluation and be cleared before they return to the school, because they already let you know that they have the potential. And while they should see law enforcement does not have the ability to make sure that they're not a danger to themselves or others. Another misstep is the school was notified that morning that there were going to be 5 potential school shootings in the area and that the first one would happen at that exact school. They should have made sure that law enforcement was made aware and present throughout the day, or they should have shut school down if you did not have the means to keep kids safe. But if you are aware of a potential active shooting that is going to take place, you should immediately go into some sort of planning or preventive measures to make sure that it doesn't become deadly. And lastly, it seems like the parents were not notified about any of the potential dangers prior to the school shooting. So the calls that were made that morning and or the fact that the same student made a threat to the school online last year. Now, you cannot share the information about what student made the threats, but you can absolutely share with the parents that threats were made and that you all have a plan to make sure that their kids are safe in the event that anything happens. Now, here are some things you can ask the school to make sure that they're prepared to keep your child safe in the event that there's a school shooting or an emergency event. Number 1, you can ask them about their building safety plan or district safety plan. Now, what I will say is they can't disclose all of the information in the building safety plan because it quite literally talks about what they would do in the event that there's an emergency, and they don't need someone from outside seeing that in case they are the shooter. But they can share some information from the safety plan with you to ensure that you know that their child is safe. You can also ask if the staff have been trained on evacuation drills, lockdown procedures, and any hazardous drills. Now, there are drills that happen throughout the year that involve kids. Usually they're only evacuation drills because studies have shown that it is harmful for kids to participate in lockdown drills. It causes trauma. However, the staff still need to have been trained on all of these drills in the event of an emergency so they can keep the kids safe. So you can ask if staff have been trained in all of these procedures to make sure that your kid will be safe. Also ask how they plan to communicate with you in the event of an emergency. Now, obviously, the first priority is not to communicate with people while there's an active shooter in the building. We want to make sure everybody's safe. But what are the options for communication to let you know that the school is handling it and taking care of it, so that you can have some peace of mind knowing that your child is in a safe space with people who are prepared for an event like this? Now, there's no sure way to tell when an event like this is going to happen, but there are absolutely ways to prevent events like this from happening. Most times there are signs before the incident that the person is considering causing harm to other people to some capacity. The school needs to pay attention to those warning signs, and also parents need to pay attention to those warning signs for their kids. It's not always all on the school. And every threat should be taken seriously as an emergency, because every threat is a real threat. You don't know whether or not it's real until it happens. So you should take everything and consider everything as a real threat. Now, this video is already long, so I could share more. So let me know if y'all want to have more information about ways to keep your kids safe and ways to hold your schools accountable to keeping your kids safe. I just seen somebody say that race has nothing to do with the issue of school shootings. Now, friend, I need us to be so for real. The typical profile for a school shooter, matter of fact, I'll do you one better. A mass shooter is a white male. And what's so crazy about this is that black boys have been criminalized for years, to the point where their lives have literally been taken because of perceived or assumed threat. I want you to hear me again. Perceived or assumed threat. For centuries, parents have had to raise black boys, teaching them that they need to be careful about how they show up because they don't want to be profiled. Centuries of this. And no matter how many of these mass shootings have happened and will continue to happen, nobody is profiling a little white boy. Not one nobody is profiling a little white boy. They don't see them and be like, damn, I think they could be a school shooter. They certainly do that for crimes of violence with black boys. Now, what I will say is that it's not just an issue based on race. There's also the gender component, because it is almost always boys. Why? Because boys are raised to be violent. That is a fact. Listen. Argue with your mama. Argue with your mama, but just don't argue with me.
Like, seriously, lovelies, this whole thing is just so sad. Like, it's just something that might actually been, prevented, but all because some people think that, they have the right to do some certain things, and they refuse to look into so many things, so many disadvantages of things before actually going, through it. So these boys, father, I just thank God with the fact that now he's also facing the consequences of his action. So sometimes, last year, as it was said by the episode, some of the videos that were staged that he actually took the said boy out for, practice and all of that. Like he took him, out there to teach him how to actually, and he eventually unalived his first deer and all of that. And that was the same period he actually sent a message, a THERT, message. And this was, the same period this man was supposed to prevent this. But all he could do was when the investigators come, to his place to actually talk about how a threat message, was noticed from this area. He decided to cover it up. He decided nothing like that. I don't give, stuff like this to my little ones. That means he actually lied to them. If he actually, told the truth, that means this boy wouldn't even have been able to, make way with whatsoever he used to unalive these students. The worst part is that most parents like this know exactly that their, kids or young ones have one or two issues, but because they don't want to maybe hurt the feelings of their own, they don't want to hurt the feelings of their, younger ones, like, what do you just know? They chose not to take the right measures to actually prevent something like this from happening. They chose just to, overlook it, giving way for other people to get hurt, just like these 4 individuals. Seriously, I feel so, oh my God, like, this is just something that could have been prevented. Let's just assume that he actually took up the responsibility of being a good parent to this, and if you know that your kid have some kind of, they seriously, like, all of these things are just something that when you keep on analyzing, a lot of people, try to bring in, oh, this has nothing to do with race and all of that. I seriously understand the brother that was talking about someone sending him a message, saying that this has nothing to do with race. It happened that when this incident, happened newly, they actually started posting the picture of the other, black, one that is into, they were posting his pictures, telling the public that he was the one that did that committed the whatsoever. They just automatically start posting his picture until when the mom have to start, I'm looking for my child and all of that. That was when everyone realized that he is actually the victim, and the person that actually committed the whatsoever. He's a pan-colored person. Like, this is how racial profile happens. Anything that has to do with school or whatever, they just assume that, oh, okay, it's actually a black kid, they're not to be trusted and all of that. Like, one good thing about this whole thing is that the parent have to also face the consequences. At least this should pave way. This should actually teach some of these parents a lesson that often neglect their own, because they feel that their own is so special than other person's own is not. Like, it should be something like this. When you're not able to raise your own kid properly, and your kid have to do something so despicable like this, you should also face the consequences. I think with this act, a lot of people that neglect and a lot of all this, school stuff, we have to reduce, and parents will have to like care more about their own, but about their offspring. Like, you can't keep on bringing in child into the world that will endanger another child. Like, seriously, it's your duty as a parent to make sure that your own offspring is brought up properly. And if you notice that your offspring have some kind of, something you have to look up to, it is your responsibility as a parent to take, the measures in order not to endanger other people. Like, seriously, it's so heartbreaking that these 4 individuals have to just lose their life because of this. My heart just goes, off with them, and I just hope that they find peace. Seriously. Anyway, lovelies, why not just, leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatever. If you've not subscribed up to this extent, please do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button. Leave a thought in the comment section of what you think of this justice. And I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.
Leave me your own thought in the comment section. Subscribe if you've not done that already. Like, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.